Just use this microphone here. How are you guys doing?
Woo!
Well, great. Well, thank you. And I thank you for the opportunity to stand before you and give this short presentation on your topic in relation to Martin Luther King, smashing filters and rising up, not only in love, but also in freedom. Because one of the things that I find so important about our collective journeys is that when you're joined in hand, you don't have to go it alone. And so recognizing who you are. My name is Robert Britton, and I work here at the college. I've been here for approximately 8 years. And I work in custodial services. But I do so many things for students and so many things for the community. And so I'm a poet, I'm an author, I'm a public speaker, I am a mentor, I'm a father. And so I wear many hats during the day. And what you will find in your journey is that you also wear many hats. But today's presentation, I like to start it with a poem that I wrote and end it with one. So to begin, the first piece of work that I've written is called Awaken. Awaken. Awaken and challenge your intellect. Prepare yourself for the journey of a lifetime. And awaken the unlimited possibilities of the day. Awaken the voice of liberty that speaks to the consciousness of a people and their struggle. Move with purpose and don't waste a moment. In your veins flow the strength that is America's freedom, and in your eyes her future hope. Awaken, O disciple of truth. Awaken. Now, this whole concept of smashing filters ties into something that you have back there on the mirror. It says, "The enemy is me." There is an old song, a gospel spiritual that is, "Hide me from my enemies." And it states, "Lord, hide me from my enemies, even if the enemy you hide is me." We need to start getting out of our own way and start coming out of the shadows so that we can be who we are purposed to be. Each of you have a purpose in this life. But we sometimes allow the shadows to overshadow our greatness. And I want to encourage you this morning or this afternoon to come out from the shadows. And in order to do that, you must develop a boldness about who you are. You must learn to accept and acknowledge all of your gifts and all of your shortcomings, because collectively they comprise who you are. You see, coming out of the shadows is more than just hiding. Coming out of the shadows, it means that you can acknowledge in totality who you are and what you bring to the table. And so many of us have many things that we are using as an excuse not to be out front. Put your excuses away. Put your fears aside and join the fight. Dr. King was one such person who joined the fight. Not because he wanted to, but because he had to. And today you're in such an environment where you don't have a choice anymore. You must come out from the shadows. Because your identity is on the line. Your futures are at stake. And when you decide that you are going to come out of the shadows, you acknowledge that you have a voice worthy of being heard. Don't place limitations on what you can do and who you can become. And so on this day, we look at filters that Dr. King smashed and how those symbols of oppression and wrong thinking are still drawn around us today. But we have a unique opportunity in this moment to come out of the shadows. And in order to come out of the shadows, we must put on a cloak of boldness to be willing to speak our truth. And what is your truth? Your truth can only be known if you speak it. Don't rely on someone else to tell your truth. You have a voice. Use your voice to speak your truth. In looking at some of the things that Dr. King went through, I kind of went through and didn't want to talk about the "I have a dream" speech, even though that's important and that's iconic. I didn't want to to talk about the March on Selma, even though that was iconic. I wanted to talk about some of those little known things about Dr. King that you may not have known. For instance, that Dr. King, when he went off to school, fell in love with a cafeteria worker at his school and wanted to marry her. But because of social norms, he could not. And guess what? She was a white woman. Man, I didn't know that until I did the research. Another thing, Dr. King, when he did get married to Coretta Scott, could not stay in any of the white-owned hotels. So he spent his wedding night, guess where? In a funeral parlor. And probably one of the most significant things is that at the age of 12, Dr. King attempted suicide. He jumped from a 2-story window in order to take his own life because he was distraught over the loss of his grandmother. You see, his parents left home for a meeting, and they say, you watch your brother and stay home with your grandma, but he wanted to go off to the county fair or to some event in town. So he left. And when he came back to find his grandmother dead, a woman who nurtured him and whom he loved. And so he put that guilt upon himself and he went into the shadows. You see, suicide is real. And he tried to allow the shadow of suicidal thoughts to overcome him. But God had a different plan for his life, just as there's a different plan for your life. What will you do with the opportunities that are before you? You see, your education is not by accident nor by chance. Your being here today is not by accident nor by chance, but you are now being called to account and be accountable for the life that you live. What will you do with that accountability? Where will you allow it to take you? Because the shadows in your life are real. Because the longer you hide behind your shadows, the world will never discover your greatness. Your potential stay hidden, but today you have an opportunity to express all of who you are. Whether you're straight, gay, bi, or whatever, you have an opportunity to come out because the freedom road is still open today. You don't have to live in the shadows. You must smash filters. And what are the filters that need to be smashed? What are the filters in your life? Because the filter is basically the lens by which you see the world. And some of us have clouded lenses. And when your lens is clouded, you only see internally and not externally. So often we focus on the wrong things. And the filters that we want to break down can never be broken down in totality because we refuse to roll up our sleeves and get to work. We're expecting everybody else to do the work and we get the benefits. But today is a new day and you need to roll up your sleeves and get to work. There is so much to be done. The question becomes, when will you take the stance to take charge of your future? You see, smashing filters is about overcoming your fears. Smashing filters is about breaking down barriers of mistrust. Even when you don't trust yourself, trust your instincts. What are we going to do about coming out of the shadows? You see, again, because the shadows become real and they become a weight on us. But to come up off from underneath that weight, we need to be willing to do the unexpected. You see, somebody in your life may not have a confidence that you can do it, but I do. Somebody in your circle may not believe that your story is worth telling, but I tell you it is worth telling. Somebody in your life may not understand why you want to go to school, but I'm telling you today that it is important, and it is up to you to make that step. You see, I can't run across the finish line for you, but I can definitely run the race with you. And that's what I'm willing to do. I'm willing to run the race with you so that together we can achieve the victories that we want in our lives. No one that has achieved great levels of success has done it alone. They may claim to have done it alone to dismiss the contributions of others. But let me tell you, your contribution is worthy of being touted. Your contribution. Regardless of how significant or insignificant the world may think it is still important because it came from you. What are you going to do with it? What are you going to do with your opportunity? What are you going to do with this moment in time? Because you are living in historical times. And what are you going to do to help frame what tomorrow looks like? You have to be willing to smash filters. You have to be willing to come out of the shadows. You have to be willing, like Dr. King was willing, to put himself at risk. Multiple times his house was bombed with his family in it. But he said that the fight is too important for me to run and hide. And your battle today is too important for you to run and hide. Don't just wear the t-shirt smashing filters. Start living what smashing filters mean. Start living it. Day by day. Increment by increment. Moment by moment. Because time is the one thing you cannot redeem. And so make the very most of your opportunity now. But you have to want it. You have to desire it. And you have to join the fight so that the filters that are clouding your vision can be smashed and broken. What are you going to do? Lastly, what impact do you want to make? You see, you have to have a reason why smashing the filters are important to you. Without a compelling reason why you need to do something, you'll never do it. You may start it, but your reason for doing it is not important enough for you to continue. What is your reason for coming to school every day? What is the end goal? You need to keep your dream in front of you and not behind you. You need to look for the opportunity in the times that you're in. And you need to learn to be creative with what you have. My mother had this saying. She said, do the best you can with what you've got and let God do the rest. Because she had this notion that you can only do so much by yourself, but you need the helping hand of others to help you get to the place where you need to be. Don't be afraid to ask for help if you need it. Don't be afraid that if the shadow of depression falls upon you that you don't seek help. Don't be afraid to let the world know that I have a struggle and I need your assistance to get to the finish line because I can't get there on my own. Don't suffer in silence. Because the world loses when you surrender. The world loses when you surrender. And so today I want to encourage you to smash filters all around your life. All over your school, all over your community, all over this world, so that the world can become better, so that you can become stronger, and your impact felt around the world. Lastly, this last poem that I've written, in closing it is called My Blood. And I wrote this piece in relation to a lot of the shootings that I've seen in the media around the world and around the world. And it says, my blood runs in city streets like red wine. My voice is ever so silent because it's mine. My heart breaks with each shot, and my soul cries for help because it's not heard, not acknowledged, not seen, not equal. There is a thin line between love and hate, a thin blue line between me and fate. Whether driving, walking, or standing while black, my life has no value as you attack. Attack my dreams, my hopes, my freedoms, my right to be. We feel no pain and show no shame, we demand justice for a lion and stand in protest for a dog, and yet remain silent about the catalog of Black lives lost, the Black history stopped, and the Black fears realized. My blood runs through city streets like red wine. My voice is ever so silent because it's mine. My heart breaks with each shot, and my soul cries for help because it's not heard, not seen, not acknowledged, not equal. So today, I take a knee. God bless you.
Thank you for that. That was fantastic. Appreciate it.